in this episode of Fights and Fuck-Ups.
So I'm here waiting for Guilherme and Vasco. Vasco is just upstairs, Guilherme is driving, he's going to pick us up, me and Vasco. I came to Vasco's house, and let's see who makes it first actually. My bet's on Guilherme because Vasco takes forever to get ready. And I was correct, Guilherme made it first. You can see he's already waiting there with the blinker. Look who finally made it! No!
Hello everyone, so we are here at Palmela, so this is our first race of the season. And we are going to be split into two groups right now. So usually in this league there are three groups, A, B and C, where A is the fastest and C is the slowest. As we are rookies, we started on the C, but in Palmela for some reason they always group the B and C groups. So this is going to be a trickier race with some of the leaders lapping us probably because they are on a higher level, but we'll see what we can manage.
So guys, now we'll get ready to dress up and get ready for the race. I'll start to explain what we have. So we'll have a big suit to dress up, never be hurt and to be ready for everything. Then the boots, very important, the boots for feeling the pedal in the car. Then the gloves, because we're always pressing a lot steering wheel. And these to protect us from sweat that comes from the eyebrows and stuff. And the cervical vest to always protect our backs, because there's always impact on these races. It's important to note that we don't dress up in our own clothes, so we always pick something lighter because we sweat a lot with this vest.
Athletes sweat, baby. Sweat.
And on the races with all the adrenaline and all the stress, we start to get sweaty. But for us, it's very important, this kind of clothing.
Okay, right now we need to check what our kart number is and what our starting positions in the grid are, so let's go.
With this information, we are going to set our strategies, decide when we are going to swap drivers and what the starting position for each driver will be.
Let's go, guys. Get ready for the race, see where we start, and have fun.
Okay, so here we can see that our kart is kart number 7, and it looks like we'll start from the 17th position on the grid. So the rules, it says, so we have 3 races, each race is 25 minutes. We have to go to the pits between the minute 10 and 15 of each race. We need weights as well, because we all have to have 82 kilograms at least. We can have more, but at least 82 kilograms for everyone. Waiting time.
So guys, we'll start the races as 3 races. Each one will start a different pole position. So I'll start the first race, Janeiro will start the second, and Vasco the third. And we'll exchange between the 10 and 15 minutes to always make the same times of racing. In the first race, I'll swap with Vasco. Second race, Janeiro will swap with me. And the third race, Vasco will swap with Janeiro.
During the practice sessions, we were making fastest laps around the 1 minute 8 seconds mark, and we just checked out, and the groups in the A class are averaging around the low 107, so let's see what we can do during the race.
The carts we used during practice were actually different, so we used these carts over here, these black ones, and in the race they are using these carts, which are quite different, but we hope that the times are comparable and that we'll be able to be competitive this time. Now we're checking out the faster drivers from the first races. Some of them are already in the pit, waiting for the time to come back on the track. Some of them are on the track, and we are trying to learn from them what we can. Guilherme, thoughts before the first race?
A bit nervous, not gonna lie. Feeling the stressy part of this beginning. So once we start racing, I know the stress will always go away. But this first part, seeing everyone preparing themselves, it's a bit stressy. Let's go.
Here goes Guilherme for the first race.
Let's go, guys.
Guilherme is now waiting in the car. He's waiting for everyone to get inside the cart. Everything gets settled, all the weights inside the cart, everything, so that they can then go off to the track and start racing. Right now there's some rental karting going on, so we have to wait for that to finish, and afterwards they'll go on to the track and they'll line up in the main grid to start the race. Not bad for Guilherme.
Having some pretty good battles at the end of the That's our boy.
The weather is looking pretty bad now. Looks like it might just rain. We hope not. Vasco, how are you feeling for the pit stop?
Well, the pit stop is always stressful. As you saw in our previous video, sometimes they are quite disastrous, and this time we have to wait the drivers in the pit stop, so let's see how that goes. But I'm confident. Last time the race with Guilherme, we ended up in a pretty good position, so I'm hopeful for this one. Yeah, the nerves are still here. I'm going to be watching Guilherme closely during the race, but as he said, when the visor goes down, the stress goes away and we just focus on the racing.
Vasco, thoughts before going into the race?
Well, we are in last place by a pretty long margin, but it's a good opportunity to get to grips with the track since there was no warm-up before the race. So let's use this first race as kind of a warm-up for the second and third races in order to improve. The weather is looking pretty nasty, so we may expect a few drops during the race. Let's see. We have never driven a kart in the wet, so it will be a brand new experience. And we are at the back, so a bit of time to practice, but Guilherme is being consistent. Yeah, so let's see how it goes in the pit stop. We may gain a bit of time in the pits.
Actually, it looks like it's starting to rain and everyone's racing on slicks, so it's not tires for the wet, but let's see how it goes. There goes Vasco, followed closely by two other drivers. And he may be able to reach the pack in the front. So it's starting to rain, which is definitely not good since we don't know how to drive in the wet. I'll be starting from like mid to front of the grid. I'm kind of concerned about starting in the wet. The rain is not yet like intense, it's just a few drops. We'll still have to wait for this race to finish, everything that goes on in the pit, and then we go inside the kart and then we start. So by then we might have more rain, which is definitely not good. So the race just finished. Let's see how the start goes.
Any thoughts for the next race?
Yeah, so it looks like the rain is getting quite intense. So we'll have a start in the wet, which is definitely not good. You can see from his helmet, the rain is already strong. How did it go, the race?
Yeah, the race went pretty fine. I think that the rain really made it hard in the end because once the drops start to hit the visor, it gets really tricky. Guilherme handed me the car in a very good place, so I was able to learn the track very well and then see how the track transitioned from dry to wet. At the end, it was getting quite wet, especially in the hairpin and in the turn one. So hopefully, I got a few footage of that of my slides, and in the end it was really tricky, but I think I managed to learn some of the lines with the leaders, and I think that especially in the hairpin I managed to learn a lot. So overall, pretty good race. May the next one come.
Preparing for the second race. Carts are being set up. Choosing randomly the cart, not be the same one. Last race the cart was not that good. Janeiro is setting up his GoPro, getting ready mentally. The rain hasn't stopped yet, so this will be a different race.
And João thinks that the best way to get the car ready for rain is to play with the tires with his feet, like a pro.
Let's start this one. Janeiro is getting ready right there. Now the race has started. Pretty good in the front. Here they come. Janeiro is still battling good. Here he is, here he is. great race. Battling up.
And João is now heading into the pits. Let's start the timer. Okay, so Guilherme has just swapped with João. We are in the pits, counting for the minute. João is trying to do the charades game again, but it didn't work once more because Guilherme doesn't want the cervical protection. The pit stop is now almost over. João had a pretty good first half of the race. He started from P5 and he managed to hold a lot of cars behind. I think we have some pretty good footage with his GoPro, so we should be showing that by now. And go, 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 go. It's go time for Guilherme. The 1 minute pit stop is now complete. Let's see how he manages. Okay, so João's just finished his first half of the race. He had a pretty good battle, but now let's hear what he thinks about it.
Yeah, so I started from P4 or P5, I think. There were not that many cars in front of me, which was good for the start. I was able to keep up with them for a bit. Then I started to get hit from behind like crazy. So I had to give up some of the positions in the beginning. But then after that, it was smooth sailing from there. I was fighting with lots of people. I was getting overtaken, but also did some overtakes, which was pretty good. And it was pretty fun. I was able to keep up the entire time with the guys in front, so I never dropped back to like we sometimes do. So it was a pretty good race, I would say. And it was raining a bit, so some of the parts of the track were a bit more slippery, but I didn't feel it that much, I guess. Overall, it was pretty fun, pretty good. Some of the guys in the front, like, they really hit you hard. In the first turn, right in the first turn, I was hit from behind in such a way that I was perpendicular to the track. Once that happened, I was like, shit, I've got to get hit by everyone. But actually it was okay. I was like, because I was hit from one side by one guy and then another guy hit me in the front. So my car then was just, it snapped into position again and I just went. Yeah, it always shakes you up a bit, but it was pretty good. Here we have Guilherme just winding up after the race. Guilherme, how was the race?
Not that happy. Not that happy although it went. This second race was much more rough than the first with the rain in roads in the pit, so yeah, it was different, very different. I was able to manage a bit in the start, but then got past mid my race. But let's see how it goes on the third one.
So they are drawing out the cards now. Vasco just got his, which is this one. So Vasco is going in now for our third and final race. How are you feeling for the third race with your start?
I'm definitely feeling more confident than in the other race. This is a different car to what we used in practice, so I'm more comfortable with it and I'm more comfortable with the track layout. And I'm going to start this race, so I get to kind of manage how the race starts and how I do. So in the last race, I got the car handed from Guilherme, which is always trickier to pick off where someone left off. So now I get to start. I'm pretty confident. Let's see the rain. We are starting in the average position of our two finishes. We are probably starting last. But I think that in the first corner, I can make a few miracles work, even if they involve a few tangles.
Here is Vasco lining up now. So he's starting from P last. Here is Vasco. Start. Can you overtake? Not yet. He's putting the moves. Yes. Great. Let's go. Distance this guy. Let's go. Okay, so we are now close to the halfway of the race, which is when Vasco and I will swap. I will go inside the cart and let's see what I can do. I think Vasco now dropped to the last position because I think he had an accident. He spun in the track, but I think it was other driver that inflicted it. But we didn't get a very clear view, but right now he's already battling again. So let's see. I'll get inside the cart and let's see what we can get.
É mesmo? Are you not ready?
primeira curva.
3, 2, you can go. You can go, no. So, Vasco, how did it went?
Okay, so I've just handed over the kart to João, and I got to say this was by far the most fun I've ever had on the karting track. I managed to overtake a few people from the first corner. I was keeping pace with them. My kart was a rocket ship, but I was managing to keep pace with them. Then I had an unfortunate collision where I spun in the first corner, but even after spinning, that was the difference. After spinning, I managed to catch up to the pack I was racing with and then race with them again, which was amazing. And it's the first time I feel this thrill in karting. So amazing race overall. I can't wait to check the onboard footage.
For some reason, my colleague didn't actually mention this, but in this last part of the race, while I was in the cart, it was pouring down rain, as you can see in the next clips.
All race has just finished, so now it's time to recheck footage, check times and improve.
And go to McDonald's.
Here they come. João is completely aziated.
He just signaled to us that he spun 3 times, so we probably are going to need the bleep machine for his post-race commentary.
Here comes for the weightings. How are you feeling, Janeiro?
Yeah, the beginning was not so bad, then it started to rain a bit more, so the track became super slippery. I did like 2 or 3 spins I think, and that's when I lost all the positions. But then I was still able to recover a little bit, but yeah, I was no longer competitive. This was it for our last race. We had some laughs, we cried a little, we had some overtakes, we were overtaken. But in the end, everyone had fun, it is a great day for us, and really enjoyed it.